In 2024, Randy Arozarena is hitting just .211, has an OPS of .712, and is a below-average defender. Critics say that Arozarena's best days of baseball might be behind him, and that he will be just another below-average bat in the worst lineup in baseball. But when digging deep and looking at the advanced analytics, it's clear that Randy Arozarena's numbers don't tell the full story. Before jumping into why Randy is more valuable than his numbers say, I want to quickly take a look at the main reasons people point to why he's a below-average player. The first and most obvious thing that fans will point to is his batting average, which is just .211 in 2024. To put that into context, the Mariners as a team are last in the MLB in batting average and are still a few points better than what Arozarena has been this year. The second thing, which immediately jumps off the page, is that Arozarena is a bad defender, and the numbers do back this up. Arozarena has a fielding run value in the 31st percentile, well below league average. His range, arm value, and arm strength are all well below average as well. And finally, the last thing that I specifically noticed when researching Arozarena is that for whatever reason, this year, Randy just cannot hit the fastball. In 2023, Arozarena had a fastball run value of 17 just a year later, and that run value is at 1. However, despite these flaws, I will now get into why his positives vastly outweigh the negatives. The first and arguably most important reason why Arozarena's numbers are lying to fans is how different of a baseball player he has been since the start of June. Since June 1st, Arozarena has a batting average of .287 with a .397 on-base percentage and an OPS of above 900. In that time, he also had a K rate below 20% and has added 7 home runs to his 15 on the year. Compare that to April, where Randy slashed just 143, 220, and 241, and is clear to why his numbers have been weighed down by a couple of bad months. Now, to be fair, Arozarena is a very streaky player. Here's a graph showing Arozarena's expected slugging throughout his career. On multiple occasions, he goes on insane stretches before quickly falling back down to earth. But notice on how the whole, he is not only above league average, but also how he has trended upward since the start of the 2024 season. Some people might point to his hot and cold stretches as a negative, but I don't think that being streaky is necessarily always a bad thing. Are there times when it looks like Randy can't get a hit to save his life? Sure, but there are also 2-week spans where he looks like the best player in all of baseball, and that upside is oftentimes worth the potential slumps Arozarena goes through. The second thing that really jumps off the table is that Randy makes consistent hard contact. Here's a few graphs showing Randy's hard hit into play, contact, and swing percentages, which are all well above league average. His barrel percentage is also in the 70th percentile, which continues to prove just how valuable number 56 is. As well, despite what is being called a quote down year, Arozarena's contact, zone contact, and K percentages are all right around his career average, and when looking at his numbers since June 1st, are actually way above career average. Randy's bat speed is also well above league average, which, go figure, leads to a high exit velo. This graph proves that, showing that in and out of the strike zone, Arozarena hits the ball at an elite speed. And in case you needed any more evidence, here is another visual showing that Randy's exit velo, even when including his April and May this season, is actually up when compared to 2022, which many think has been his best year of his career. Here's another graph showing that even in 2024, he's above league average in exit velocity and also in hard hit percentage. In hard hit percentage especially, notice the dramatic change over the last couple of months compared to the start of the season. And finally, here's a histogram showing that Arozarena hits the ball more frequently at a higher exit velocity. In particular, Randy's most frequent exit velocity is right around between 105 to 110 miles per hour. This all goes to show that Arozarena hits the ball super hard and consistently. In baseball, there is a lot of uncontrollables, but as a hitter, your job is to consistently make hard contact, and Randy has done just that in 2024. This consistent theme of hitting the ball hard and at a high rate will pay, and has already started to pay off this season. The Mariners have a guy that is not only above average, but simply elite in hard hit and contact percentage, something the Mariners desperately need in this lineup. Arozarena's contact and hard hit rate aren't the only things that shows he's a better player than his numbers say he is. Unfortunately, this season, Randy Arozarena has fell victim to the most unfair factor in all of baseball: luck. Like it or not, baseball has some luck involved. You can get lucky and hit a broken bat blooper over the first baseman's head, or hit a screaming 120-mile-per-hour line drive right at the shortstop, and in the scorebook, one goes down as a hit, and the other an out. Unfortunately this year, Arozarena has had the second scenario happen to him much more than the first. Arozarena's expected batting average, slugging, and WOBA is all higher than what his actual numbers are. For example, in 2024, Arozarena's slugging should be, based on all factors, .419, just 6 points below 2023's numbers. His batting average should be up at .234, an over 20-point adjustment from his current .211 batting average. Sometimes, though, luck simply isn't on your side, and for Randy, it hasn't been this year. But the funny thing about luck is that it can flip faster than Kalen DeBoer going to Alabama. Another thing that casual baseball fans won't always notice about Randy Arozarena is his elite walk rate, which is in the 81st percentile. This walk rate is in large part due to his patience at the plate and chase rate being well above league average. Because of his willingness to take free passes, Arozarena's on-base percentage is .318. 3 points higher than that of Julio Rodriguez, despite the more than 50-point separation in batting average between the two players. Getting on base by any means is what the Mariners' offense needs, and Arozarena does that in spades. Now I want to quickly jump through a last few factors and why Arozarena brings more value than what the number says he does. The first one I want to mention comes with a huge caveat because the Mariners still have to make the playoffs, but if they do, Randy is a pitcher's worst nightmare in October. He is hitting a scorching .336 in the playoffs with 11 home runs and 17 RBIs in 33 games. Baseball fans have seen him carry the Rays through the postseason before, and I wouldn't be surprised if his future with the Mariners holds a similar fate. Another quirk to Arozarena's game, which I found quite interesting, is that he actually is a stupendous hitter at T-Mobile Park. Granted, he has just 45 ABs up in Seattle, but he has a .289, .333, .511 slash line with 3 home runs at T-Mobile Park. Now, once again, very small sample size, but for a stadium that isn't very friendly to hitters, especially righty bats, it's good to see that he has been able to produce at the place he will play half his games at. Another small thing I want to mention that I think will help him play well as a Mariner is that he is used to the travel that inevitably comes with playing for the M's. The Rays were consistently in the top 10 in travel miles last year, racking up just shy of 40,000 miles traveled. For context, the Mariners traveled the league-high 49,000 miles last year. Travel is something that players consistently complain about when playing for the Mariners, so it's reassuring to know that Randy is at least somewhat used to the extreme travel. Another factor is that Arozarena's defense, although subpar, can be improved pretty easily. Randy Arozarena isn't slow by any means, and is actually in the 71st percentile in sprint speed. A lot of times it seems that he just isn't making plays due to a lack of focus defensively, something the Mariners should help him improve on. And not to mention, we have seen quite a few spectacular catches from Arozarena over the last few years. The final factor I would be remiss to not mention is the vibe that Arozarena will immediately bring to the clubhouse. Randy plays with a swagger that few ball players have, and his energy should be infectious from his first day in a Mariners jersey. Something this team is lacking with Julio and JP out for the near future is some of that swag that Arozarena by no doubt brings to the table. It also doesn't hurt that Randy and Julio are good off-the-field friends as well, which should help the outfield chemistry. Well, whatever way you want to slice it, this move for the Mariners could not have come at a better time. Seattle is slumping. And instead of waiting back and hoping the problem fixes itself, Jerry Dipoto acted fast and grabbed one of the best bats on the market. The Mariners didn't give up a single top 10 prospect, and for 2.5 years of club control of Randy Arozarena, you'd take that trade 100 times out of 100. Numbers don't necessarily lie, but it is important to do research and look deeper at a player before making judgment on him. Randy Arozarena is a great baseball player, and no matter how many times people will point to his batting average, know that he has the potential to single-handedly turn around the 2024 Mariners offense. I'm Drew Albaugh, and this was the NW Sportscast. Leave a like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe if you made it all the way to the end of the video. And as always, go Mariners! Subscribe. I see you're not doing it. Subscribe right now. Bye, everybody.